Hello everyone. So this is Teacher Jenny again, and I am here to discuss to you yung week 5 ng module ng Mathematics 7. So sa araw na to, ang i-discuss natin is all about rational numbers. So at the end of the lesson, the student should be able to, first is to identify rational number, next is to express rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. So tuturuan ko kayo kung paano mag-express ng rational number galing sa fraction to decimal or decimal papunta sa fraction. And last, it's to perform operation on rational numbers. So bago tayo magsimula, let's remember this, that when we change fraction to decimal, we divide the numerator by the denominator, and when decimal is converted to fraction, divide the decimal by powers of 10. So maiintindihan natin yan sa mga example mamaya. Okay? So, bago tayo mag-start dun sa learning task number 1 natin sa module nyo, magkaroon muna tayo ng recall dun sa place value. Diba? Ang location ng number sa decimal number ay meron siyang value depende sa location niya. So, let's see. After nitong decimal point, we have here 1. At itong 1 na to ay nasa tenths. Okay? So, tandaan natin, we have tenths. And then, yung 2 nandun siya sa hundreds. Thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions, and so on. So, kung ilan yung numbers na nandyan. Now, let's go back. After the decimal number, or decimal point, meron tayong ditong tenths, and yan ay 1. So, for example, I have 0.1. So, since nasa tenths siya, ang basa dito ay 1/10. Ngayon, ano siya sa fraction? Since this is 1/10, number 1, tapos ang lugar niya ay nasa tenths, so this is 1/10. In decimal, that's 0.1. In fraction, 1/10. Okay? How about this 2? Yung 2 ay nasa hundreds. So, ibig sabihin, if I have here this number or decimal number 0.1 and then 2, di ba, tenths, hundreds. Nasa hundreds na siya. So, ibig sabihin, this is 12/100. Okay, di ba mas madali to convert to fraction? Ibig sabihin, pwede natin itong basahin na 12 hundredths, and then sa fraction, we have 12/100. Next, let's have the 3. So, nasa thousands siya. Ibig sabihin, kung meron akong 0.1, 2, 3, so ang basa dyan ay 123 thousandths. And to fraction, so that's 1, 2, 3, susulat lang natin yung number over, since nasa thousands siya, so 1,000. Okay? 123 thousandths, 123 over 1,000. Next is yung 4. Nasa 10,000 siya. So, ibig sabihin, ito, if we have 0.1, 2, 3, 4, so ang basa dyan ay 1,234 10,000s. So, in fraction, so we will write 1, 2, 3, 4. So, since 10,000 siya, over 10,000s. Okay? So, that's it. Same with 5. So, this is 100,000. So, ibig sabihin, we have 12,345 100,000s. So, kung isusulat natin sa fraction, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 100,000s. Okay? And then last, we have millions. So, ibig sabihin, if I have 0.12345,6, ang basa natin dyan is 123,456 millions. And if we convert that into fractions, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1 million. Okay, so that's it. Yun yung mga place value. So, ang location ng number after decimal point ay meron or nagde-define siya ng value niya. Next. In our learning task number 1 sa inyong module, sabi dyan ay, you need to translate the given statement into fraction and decimal. So may binigay na statement, ang kailangan ay i-convert nyo siya or i-translate nyo siya sa fraction and decimal. So let's have number 1. Ang number 1 is 2/10 ang dali, di ba? 2/10. Ibig sabihin, into fraction, that's 2/10 kasi 2/10. Ngayon, i-apply natin yung ginawa natin kanina. Sabi 2/10. Eh, di ba ang location ng tenth is after decimal point, this is tenths. Tama? At ang binigay na number is 2. So, ibig sabihin, si 2 nasa tenths. I have 2 tenths. So, in decimal, that is 0.2. Or ang basa natin dyan ay 2 tenths. Again, in fraction, that's 2/10. Sa decimal, that's 0.2 or 2 tenths. Number 2. 3/5. So, sa fraction, madali, di ba? So, 3/5. So, ibig sabihin, that's 3/5. 3/5. How about the decimal form? So, sabi natin, kanina, if we convert fraction to decimal form, ang karaniwan natin ginagawa is to divide the numerator by the denominator. So, ang numerator natin ay yung nasa taas, ang denominator natin ay yung nasa baba. So, to convert it to decimal, ang ginagawa natin kadalasan is 3 divided by 5. Tama? And 3 divided by 5 cannot be, so we need to add point and then 0. So, alam nyo na naman siguro to, division. So, dahil nagdagdag tayo ng 0 at point, may point tayo dun sa taas. So, 30 divided by 5, that's 6. 6 times 5, that's 30. 30 minus 30, that's 0. So, meaning to say, 3/5 is equal to 0.6 sa decimal number. Now, tingnan nga natin. I will teach you another way on how to convert fraction to decimal. So, since I have here 3/5, tingnan nga natin, ang dali kasi para sa atin na mag-convert ng fraction to decimal kapag ang ilalim ay tenths, 100, 1,000, 10,000, di ba? Kagaya ng tinuro ko sa inyo kanina. So, sa 3/5, mas madali kung itong ilalim na to ay 10, 100, 1,000, or kung ano pa man, with zeros. Tama? Tingnan natin, ito bang si 5 ay meron tayong pwedeng gawin para maging 10 siya, or hundreds, or 1,000? Yes. Di ba si 5, pwede siyang gawing 10 by multiplying this to 2. Tama? And, pag minultiply natin yung denominator kay 2, kailangan i-multiply din natin sa numerator kay 2. So, ibig sabihin, 3 times 2, that's 6. Over 5 times 2, that's 10. So, I have 6/10. 6/10, or 6/10. So, in decimal, that's 0.6. Di ba? Madali din. So, nasa sa inyo yan kung ano yung pwede nyong gawin. So, ang laging ginagamit is dividing. Pero, if you don't want to divide, gusto nyo mas mabilis, or kung ano man yung mas madali sa inyo, you can use this one. Okay? Titingin lang kayo or hahanap na kayo, ano pa pwede kong igawin kay 5 para maging 10 siya or 100? So, since pwede naman siya kay 10 na, so 5 times 2, which is 10. Mas madali siya. So, 6/10. So, that's 6/10. Next. So, 3/5, meron tayong fraction is 3/5, and decimal, that's 0.6 or 6/10. Next, number 3. So, I have here 125 thousandths. So, ang dala, di ba? Fraction. So, sabi, 125 thousandths. So, sulat natin yung 125 over 1,000. So, in fraction, that's 125 over 1,000. So, tingnan natin. So, in decimal, I have here after decimal point, so I have tenths, hundreds, thousands, and then isusulat lang natin yung 125. So, ang base dyan ay 125,000. So, in decimal, that's 0.125 or 125 thousandths. So, again, in fraction, 125 over 1,000. In decimal, that's 0.125. Okay, next. So, we have here 1/4. Napakadali, di ba? So, very familiar tayo sa 1/4. So, that is, in fraction, that's 1/4. Paano naman sa decimal? So, kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, pwede natin gawin yung division. So, let's have 1 divided by 4. So, 1 divided by 4, hindi pwede. So, point and then 0. So, maglagay na lang tayo ng point sa taas. So, 10 divided by 4, that's 2. Correct? So, 2 times 4, that's 8. 10 minus 8, that's 2. And then, dagdag tayo ng 0. Baba natin si 0. 20 divided by 4, that's 5. And then, 5 times 4, that's 20. So, meaning to say, we have 0.25 for decimal. Okay? Pero, kagaya ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, pwede nyong gawin na si 4 ay gawin nating 10 or 100 or 1,000. So, depende sa atin. Try natin. So, I have your 1 over 4. Tingnan natin. Si 4 ba ay may times kang number para maging 10? Wala, di ba? Paano naman kung maging 100? Meron. 4 times 25. So, di ba? 25 times 4, that's 100. So, ibig sabihin, ita-times natin pareho kay 25. So, 1 times 25, that is 25. Over 4 times 25, that's 100. So, ibig sabihin, I have 25 over 100. So, sa decimal, that's 0.25 or 25 hundredths. O, diba? Pwede din siya. So, depende sa inyo kung ano yung mas madali para sa inyo. So, in fraction, we have 1/4. At sa decimal, we have 25 hundredths. Next, I have 7 hundredths. So, I have there, in fraction, that's 7 over 100. Kasi 7 hundredths. Now, how about in decimal? So, tingnan natin. I have a 100. So, pwede bang 0.7 yan? Since 7 lang naman yung given? Hindi. So, tingnan natin. This is the decimal point. Ang location natin, I have here tenths. And then this one is 100. So, ibig sabihin, dapat dito siya mag-end. So, 7 lang yung given na number. Hindi pwedeng si 7 ilagay natin dito. No. I have here the 7. So, since 7 hundredths. 7, nasa hundredths siya. So, ano ilalagay natin dito? So, we need to put 0. So, we have 0.07 as decimal number of 7 over 100. So, ibig sabihin, I have here for fraction, 7 over 100 at sa decimal, that's 0.07 or 7 hundredths. Okay. Ano nga ba yung rational numbers? So, yung activity natin na yun ay mga rational numbers. Bakit? We define rational numbers are numbers which can be written as a quotient of two integers. So, quotient daw siya ng dalawang integers, which is the A and B. A over B, where B is not equal to 0. Any rational number can be expressed in fraction form or decimal form. So, ibig sabihin, kahit anong rational number na quotient ng A and B, we can write it fraction form or decimal form. Okay, let's have illustrative example number 1. So, we have here, express 4 over 5 in decimal form. So, si fraction daw na 4 over 5, kailangan natin siyang gawing decimal number. So, I have here 4 over 5. So, sabi natin kanina, yung pinaka common sa ating ginagawa is to divide 4 by 5. So, we have 4 divided by 5. Hindi siya pwede. So, we need to add point and then 0. Tama? And then, copy the point dun sa taas. 40 divided by 5, that's 8. 8 times 5, that's 40. So, 40 minus 40, that's 0. So, meaning to say, we have 0.8 or 8 tenths. So, 4 over 5 is equal to 0.8 or 8 tenths. Next. Express 2 over 5 in decimal form. So, ganun din. Si fraction na 2 over 5, kailangan natin gawing decimal numbers. So, I have 2 over 5. So, 2 divided by 5. So, hindi siya pwede. Dagdagan natin ng point and then 0. So, point din sa taas. 20 divided by 5. So, that is 4. 4 times 5, that is 20. 20 minus 20, 0. So, ibig sabihin, ang 2 over 5 natin ay 0.4 or 4 tenths. Again, 2 over 5 is equal to 0.4 or 4 tenths. Next, so we have expressed 0.8 in fractional form. So, gagawin naman natin si decimal na 0.8, gagawin natin siyang fraction. So, paano yon? Ano ulit basa natin dito? We have 8 tenths. Tama? Kasi nasa tenths siya. So, ibig sabihin, that's 8 over 10. So, pwede na siya in fraction form, but we can still reduce this in lowest term. Ibig sabihin, pwede pa natin siyang paliitin. So, si 8 over 10, saan natin siya pwedeng i-divide pareho? So, we have 2. Tama? Pwede pa natin siyang i-divide sa 2. So, 8 divided by 2, that's 4. And then 10 divided by 2, that's 5. Pwede pa ba natin palitin si 4 and 5? Meron pa ba tayong pwedeng i-divide sa kanila? Okay, wala na. So, ibig sabihin, therefore, 8 tenths is equal to 4 over 5. Let's have number 2. Express 0.4 in fractional form. So, we have decimal na 0.4. Gagawin daw natin siyang fraction. So, we have, basa natin dyan ay 4 tenths. Ibig sabihin, I have 4 over 10. So, tingnan natin, ano pa bang pwede nating i-divide kay 4 and kay 10? Still, we can divide this to 2. 2 over 2. So, we have 4 divided by 2, so that's 2. 10 divided by 2, that is 5. So, final answer, we have 4 tenths is equal to 2 over 5. So, ganun tayo maglipat ng fraction to decimal and decimal to fraction. Next, after naman nating mag-convert or mag-express ng rational number from fraction to decimal or vice versa, meron naman tayo dito tinatawag na similar fraction and dissimilar fraction. Siguro na-encounter nyo na to before, so let's have a recall about this. Pag sinabi nating similar fraction, fractions with the same denominator, ibig sabihin yung mga numbers sa baba ay pare-pareho. Yun yung tinatawag nating similar fraction. Kagaya nito, 3 over 16. 5 over 16, 6 over 16. So, itong fractions na to ay similar fractions since pare-pareho sila ng number sa ilalim. Okay, kabaligtaran naman ng dissimilar. Ang dissimilar fractions naman ay fraction with different denominators or yung numbers sa ilalim ay magkakaiba. So, 3/4, 5 over 11, and 6 over 5. Kung mapapansin natin, ito ay 4, 11, and 5. Magkakaiba yung ilalim niya. So, that is dissimilar fraction. So, meron tayong process on how to do the operation in different kind of fractions. So, tingnan natin. I have here adding or subtracting similar fraction muna. So, mag-a-add tayo at magsasubtract muna ng mga similar fractions or yung mga fractions na pare-pareho yung ilalim. So, to add or subtract similar fractions, add or subtract the numerator and then copy the common denominator. Reduce the lowest term if necessary. Napakadali, di ba? Kapag daw magka-add tayo or subtract ng similar fraction, i-add lang natin or subtract yung number sa taas, tas kopyahin na natin yung nasa baba. At i-reduce natin sa lowest term kung pwede pa. Let's have an example. Adding or subtracting similar fraction. Example number 1, I have here 3 over 8 plus 1 over 8. Similar fraction yan, tama? Kasi pareho silang 8 yung ilalim. Okay, step number 1, sabi, we just need to add the numerator, then copy the denominator. Since addition siya, ang gagawin lang daw natin ay i-add yung nasa taas na numbers. So, 3 plus 1, yan ay 4. Tama? Over, kopyahin lang daw natin yung 8 or yung common denominator. So, that's 8. 4 over 8. Hindi natin i-add yung 8 plus 8 ha. Just copy kapag pareho. So, we have 4 over 8. So, yan na ba yung final answer? Not yet. We can still reduce 4 over 8 to lowest term. So, ibig sabihin, pwede pa natin siyang paliitin. Si 4 over 8, pwede pa natin siyang i-divide sa 4 and 4. Tama? Common kay 4 and 8, that's 4. So, 4 divided by 4, that's 1, over 8 divided by 4, that's 2. So, pwede pa siya magiging 1 half. Therefore, 3 over 8 plus 1 over 8 is equal to 1 half. Next, ano naman pag meron tayong subtraction? 4 over 6 minus 2 over 6. So, same lang din. Subtract lang natin yung number sa taas at kopyahin natin yung nasa baba since similar fraction naman siya. So, 4 minus 2, ito lang yung ima-minus natin, and that is 2. Tama? Over, kopyahin lang natin yung nasa ilalim. 6. Meaning to say, we have 2 over 6. But, that's not yet the final answer. Bakit? We can still reduce 2 over 6 in lowest term. Pwede pa natin siyang i-divide sa 2. Tama? Pareho. 2 divided by 2, that's 1. over 6 divided by 2, that's 3. So, ibig sabihin, we have 1/3. Therefore, 4 over 6 minus 2 over 6 is equal to 1/3. So, paano naman pag dissimilar fraction? Ayan. Sabi natin kanina, ang dissimilar fraction, magkaiba yung denominator or yung numbers sa ilalim. So, for us to be able to add or subtract fractions with different denominators, change them to equivalent fraction by finding the least common denominator or yung tinatawag nating LCD. Then, apply the rules in adding or subtracting fractions with the same denominator. Ulit, ang una daw ay change them to equivalent fraction. So, paano natin siya change sa equivalent fraction? Finding the least common denominator or LCD. So, let's have an example para malaman natin to. I have here 3 over 4 plus 1 over 6. Medyo iba na, no? Iba na kasi yung ilalim. I have 3 over 4, 1 over 6. 4 and 6 na yung ilalim. So, ang first step daw natin is to find the least common denominator or yung tinatawag nating LCD, least common denominator. So, tingnan natin, ano ba yung denominators? I have 4 and I have 6. So, ang una nating step is to find the least common multiple muna ng 4 and 6. Tingnan natin, ano ba yung mga multiples nila? Pareho o pinakamaliit nilang multiples. Ano bang multiples ng 4? Unang method natin ay pwede natin gamitin yung listing method. Finding the multiples, 4. Ang sunod na multiples niyan ay 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on. So, tingnan natin, baka meron ng pareho. How about 6? Multiples ng 6 ay 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on. Ayan, napansin natin, meron na agad magkapareho. Ibig sabihin, yan yung least common multiple nila. Okay, ng 4 and 6. We have 12. Therefore, the least common denominator is 12. Tama? Meron pa akong isang method na ituturo sa inyo kung paano mahanap yung least common multiple. So, ito naman ay necessary siya or pwede siyang gamitin pag malalaki na yung numbers. Pero ituturo ko sa inyo para at least magamit nyo din. So, I have the number 4 and 6. To find the least common multiple, we can do this. Find the prime numbers na pwede natin silang i-divide. So, I have 4 and 6. I have 2 here. Pwede, di ba? Pwede natin i-divide both 4 and 6 sa 2. So, 4 divided by 2, that's 2. 6 divided by 2, that's 3. Okay, so prime numbers na siya lahat. Okay, ibig sabihin, I have 2 times, ita-times ko lang siya sa lahat ng numbers na nasa labas, 2 times 2, and then times 3. So, ibig sabihin, I have 2 times 2, 4 times 3, that's 12. Okay? Ito ay mas mahaba, kaya lang, hindi na tayo mag-list ng all multiples. Kagaya ng, for example, I have bigger numbers. Nasa hundreds na tayo. So, instead na ilista nyo pa lahat ng multiples niya, you can do this method. Okay? So, nasa sa inyo yan kung ano yung mas madali para sa inyo. After finding the LCD, which is 12, the least common denominator is 12. Meaning to say, we need to find the equivalent fraction. So, ibig sabihin, hindi naman pwedeng ginawa kong 12 ang ilalim, kokopihin ko na yung taas na 3 and 1. No. I have here 3 over 4, and the other one is 1 over 6. So, dapat daw pareho na silang 12. Yun kasi yung goal natin, maging pareho muna yung ilalim. So, tingnan natin yung equivalent fraction. Paano natin gagawin yon? First is to divide this 12 to denominator. So, 12 divided by 4, that's 3. Tama? Tapos, imumultiply natin sa nasa taas. 12 divided by 4, that's 3 times 3, that's 9. Okay? Therefore, we have 9 over 12 para sa una. Yung pangalawa naman, I have 12, divide naman natin dun sa 6, tapos times natin sa 1. So, 12 divided by 6, that's 2, times 1, that's 2. Therefore, I have 2 over 12 there. Ngayon, pareho na sila ng ilalim. This is similar fraction na equivalent na siya ng fraction sa taas. So, ibig sabihin, itong 3 over 4 ay equivalent kay 9 over 12 and si 1 over 6 ay equivalent to 2 over 12. So, it's very easy na para sa atin to add them since pareho na yung ilalim. Ano ulit yung rule natin? Add the numerator, yung nasa taas, tapos kopyahin lang yung nasa ilalim. So, ibig sabihin, I have 9 plus 2, that is 11. Tama? 9 plus 2, that's 11. And then, kopyahin lang natin nasa ilalim, which is 12, since similar na sila. Therefore, 3 over 4 plus 1 over 6 is equal to 11 over 12. Next, how about if we have subtraction? So, I have here 4 over 8 minus 5 over 12. Una natin step is to find the least common denominator. So, I have 4 over 8 minus 5 over 12. Ang denominator is 8 and 12. So, finding their least common multiple muna. So, I have 8. Ang multiple niya ay listing method. 8, 16, 24, 32. Tama? How about 12? Tingnan natin. 12, 24, 36. So, ayun, may nakita na agad tayo na pareho sa kanila. So, I have least common multiple ng 8 and 12 is 24. So, ibig sabihin, the least common denominator is 24. Try nga natin yung kaninang ginawa kong method. So, I have your 8 and 12. So, pwede siya sa 2. Tama? Prime number na 2. 8 divided by 2, that is 4. 12 divided by 2, that is 6. So, this is not yet prime. Ibig sabihin, may factors pa siya. So, pwede pa nating i-divide sa 2. 4 divided by 2, that's 2. 6 divided by 2, that's 3. So, prime numbers na yan lahat. Ibig sabihin, ang factors ay 1 at sarili lang. So, I have 2, 2, 2, 3. So, wala na. So, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So, 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8 times 3, still 24. Pareho lang, di ba? So, kung ano yung mas madali sa inyo, listing method or yung ganung method. So, I have now 24 as the least common denominator. So, ibig sabihin, meron na tayong 24. Kailangan nating hanapin yung equivalent fraction nila. So, 24 na yung ilalim. So, let's copy 4 over 8 here. And then the other one is 5 over 12. So, meron tayong 24 sa ilalim. Ito ding isa ay 24. Ano ulit gagawin natin? 24 divided by 8. Ta-times natin sa taas. 24 divided by 8, that's 3. Times 4, that's 12. 24 divided by 12 times 5. 24 divided by 12, that's 2. Times 5, that's 10. So, ibig sabihin, we have 12 over 24 and 10 over 24 as equivalent. Now, meron na tayong 12 over 24 and 10 over 24. Ang gagawin naman natin is to subtract the numerator and then copy the denominator since similar fraction na sila. So, we have 12 minus 10 is equal to 2 over 24. So, we have 2 over 24. Kaya lang, itong 2 over 24 na yan na sagot is still pwede nating i-reduce to lowest term. So, ano pwede natin i-divide kay 2 and 24? We can have 2. Tama? So, 2 divided by 2, that's 1. 24 divided by 2, that's 12. Correct? So, therefore, we have 4 over 8 minus 5 over 12 is equal to 1 over 12. Next, tapos na tayo sa addition and subtraction of similar and dissimilar fraction. Meron naman tayong multiplication of fractions. So, we have here to multiply rational numbers in fraction form. So, para daw makapag-multiply tayo ng rational numbers na sa fraction form, we simply multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. Napakadali, di ba? So, in symbol, I have here, for example, this is A over B, isang fraction, times sa C over D, isang fraction ulit. Ang gagawin lang natin para ma-multiply sila is just to multiply taas sa taas, numerator to numerator, that's AC. Baba sa baba, or yung denominator sa denominator, we have DB. Where B and D are not equal to 0. Let's have an example. I have here multiply 3 over 4 and 5 over 6. So, sabi ko sa inyo dati, pag nakakita kayo ng parenthesis na walang operation in between, multiplication yan. Same as dito. Pag nakakita kayo ng dot na ganan, that's multiplication. Okay? Ang first step natin, sabi, i-multiply daw lang yung numerator at saka denominators. So, we have 3 times 5, that's 15. Tama? Over 4 times 6, that's 24. Ibig sabihin, we have 15 over 24. pero hindi pa yun yung final answer. Madali lang mag-multiply, di ba? Ulit, numerator to numerator, i-multiply lang, that's 15. Denominator sa denominator, that's 24. But we can still reduce this to lowest term. Ang 15 over 24, we can still divide this saan? Saang number? Sa 3. Pwede pa natin i-divide both 15 and 24 sa 3, tama? 15 divided by 3, that's 5. And 24 divided by 3, that's 8. Therefore, we have 15 over 24 or 5 over 8. Therefore, 3 over 4 times 5 over 6 is equal to 5 over 8. Next. Ano naman pa ganito? Ang tawag naman natin dito ay mixed number. Meron ng whole number tapos meron pang fraction sa gilid. So we have 2 and 1/4 multiplied by 5 and 4 over 6. Paano naman kaya to? So first is, express natin yung mixed number to improper fraction muna. Kailangan parang isang fraction lang siya. Ang tawag doon improper. Pag mataas yung or mas malaki yung nasa taas na number. So I have here 2 and 1 over 4, paano ba natin siya magiging improper fraction? So, ang unang gagawin natin is 4 multiply kay 2, tapos ipa-plus natin sa nasa taas. 4 times 2, that's 8 plus 1, that's 9. Tama? Ulit, 4 times 2, that's 8 plus 1, that's 9. 9 over, kokopyahin lang natin yung 4 sa ilalim. So, ibig sabihin, si 2 and 1/4, that's 9 over 4. Paano naman si 5 and 4 over 6? Ulit, anong gagawin natin? 6 times 5, tapos ipa-plus natin sa nasa taas. 6 times 5, that's 30, plus 4, that's 34. 34 over, kopyahin lang natin yung denominator, which is 6. Ibig sabihin, we have 9 over 4 and 34 over 6. 9 over 4 para dito, and 34 over 6 para doon. Okay? Ngayon na na-express na natin yung mixed number to improper fraction, madali na natin siyang maimumultiply. So, simplify it by dividing to common factors. So, I have here 9 over 4 times 34 over 6. Tingnan nga natin. Ito kasi pwede pa nating simplify bago natin i-multiply kasi masyado na siyang malaki. Tingnan natin kung pwede. I have here 9 over 4 and the other one is 34 over 6. Tingnan natin. Instead na i-multiply agad natin yung numerator to numerator and denominator to denominator, pwede pa nating tingnan niya kung meron tayong pwedeng i-simplify. Kunyari, ito magkatapat. 9 and 6, dun lang tayo pwede mag-simplify ha, pag meron tayong multiplication. 9 and 6, itong magkatapat na yan, titingnan natin, saan pa kaya natin siya pwedeng i-divide para paliitin? 9 and 6. Sa 3, tama? Pwede pa nating i-divide yung 9 at yung 6 sa 3. So, 9 divided by 3, that's 3. So, pwede natin itong paltan ng 3 muna. Okay? Ito naman 6. 6 divided by 3 din. Ay, pwede pa. Pwede pa siyang 2 muna siya. Tama? Okay. Ngayon, ito namang 34 and 4. Ano pa kayong pwede nating i-divide sa dalawang to para mas lumiit siya, mas madali nating i-multiply? So, meron tayong 2. Tama? Pwede pa yan ng 2. So, si 4 pwede nating i-divide kay 2, which is 4 divided by 2, that's 2. Si 34 kaya, pag dinivide natin kay 2, ano sagot? 34 divided by 2, that's 17. So, mas madali na, mas maliit na yung mga numbers. Parang naging 3 over 2 na siya, and then 17 over 2. So, mas madali na natin i-multiply. Mas maliit na yung i-multiply natin. So, 3 times 17, that's 51. And then, 2 divided by 2, that's 4. Therefore, we have 51 over 4. Okay? Bakit natin ginawa yon? Pwede natin gawin yon kasi para hindi na masyadong malaki yung imumultiply natin. Kasi pag minultiply agad natin yung 9 times 34, medyo malaki, tapos medyo malaki din yung nasa ilalim, mahirapan tayo to reducing this into lowest term. Okay, so meron tayong 51 over 4, or sa mixed number, that's 12 over 12 and 3/4. Okay? So we have Bakit naging 12 and 3/4? So we have yung 51/4 na sagot natin kanina, kung gusto natin na gawin siyang mixed number, since mixed number yung given, 51 divided by 4, so meron tayong 5 divided by 4, pwede yung 1 times 4, that's 4. 5 minus 4, 1, bring down 11, 11 divided by 4, that's 2, 2 times 4, that's 8, 11 minus 8, that's 3. Tama? So, ibig sabihin, I have 12, remainder ay 3, magiging numerator siya over denominator ay 4. So, we have 12 and 3 over 4. Okay? Next. After multiplication, we have division of fraction naman. So, to divide rational numbers in fraction form, you take the reciprocal of the second fraction or yung tinatawag nating divisor and then multiply it by the first fraction. So, in symbol, I have here, ang una ay meron tayong A over B divided by C over D. Hindi yan i-divide mo agad to at ito. Hindi. Ang unang step natin is to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Kunin daw natin yung reciprocal ng divisor o yung pangalawang fraction. So, we have now A over B. Tapos, ibabalik na rin natin yung pangalawang fractions. Instead na C over D, magiging D over C siya. Pag binaliktad natin yung pangalawa, naging D over C, tsaka lang natin siya pwedeng i-multiply. Instead of division, magiging multiplication siya kasi binago natin yung pangalawang fraction. So, A times D, that's AD, and then B times C, that's BC. Okay, where B and C are not equal to 0. So, for us to fully understand this, let's have an example. Division of fraction, I have here divide 4 over 5 divided by 2 over 3. Ano daw gagawin natin? Una ay to get the reciprocal of the divisor. Ang divisor natin dito ay yung 2 over 3. Kunin daw natin yung reciprocal niya. So, ang reciprocal ng 2 over 3, pabaliktarin lang natin. That's 3 over 2. So, pag nabaliktad na natin, ang mangyayari ay magiging multiplication yung operation natin. Instead of division, since binaliktad natin yung 2 over 3, naging 3 over 2 siya doon, magiging multiplication na siya instead of division. After that, we can multiply now the numerators and denominators. Kagaya ng rule natin sa multiplication kanina, di ba? So, we have 4 times 3, that is 12. Over 5 times 2, that is 10. Tama? So, we have 12 over 10. But, we can still reduce that in lowest term. So, we have 12 over 10. Pwede pa natin siyang paliitin. We can still divide this to, to 2. 2 over 2. So, we have 12 divided by 2 is 6. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so we have 12 over 10 or 6 over 5. So, that's division of fraction. Una, ulit, get the reciprocal ng ating 2 over 3, magiging 3 over 2 siya. At since binago natin or nilipat natin yung ating divisor, binaliktad natin, kinuha natin yung reciprocal, we change the operation to multiplication na. And then, follow the rule of multiplication of fractions, numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. Then, reduce in lowest term. Okay? So, therefore, 4 over 5 divided by 2 over 3 is equal to 6 over 5. Ngayon, tapos na tayo sa operations of rational numbers. Meron tayo ditong reminder lang, okay? Nung nakaraan na diniscuss ko sa inyo ang operation ng integers, meron tayong rule na finalo sa multiplication and division. So, in fraction or in rational numbers, pareho lang siya ng rules. Okay? If same sign ang given ng imumultiply natin or i-divide na rational number, ang sagot niya ay always positive. Always positive. Pero pag magkaiba naman yung sign or we have different sign na imumultiply or i-divide na rational number, ang magiging sagot niya ay always negative. Let's have an example. I have here 5 over 8 multiplied by negative 5 over 3. So, if-follow lang natin yung rule na multiplication, which is 5 times 5, that's 25. Correct? And then, over 8 times 3, that's 24. Ngayon, tingnan natin, I have a positive here and a negative there. different sign. Ano kaya magiging sign ng ating final answer? Different sign, sabi natin, that's negative. Therefore, 5/8 times negative 5/3 is equal to negative 25/24. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, that's all. And thank you.